Thank you, everyone. I just want to take some time to update folks on the work that's taking place with the Human Services Leadership Program and progress to date. There is a booth that is out in our networking area that looks, and one of the documents we have out there is this particular document here, which highlights the information that you might be interested in reading in regards to our Human Services Leadership Program. Many of the folks who spoke today or this morning, or all day, all conference as a matter of fact, spoke about leadership and the importance of leadership in moving in the directions where we want to go. Things are changing, folks. Leaders are changing. Those baby boomers are looking for great leadership. They're looking for folks who are very nimble and can react to some of the issues that they're going to bring to your attention. We have millenniums in our workplace, and we have folks who are just exiting the workplace simply because they've done their time. Their saber-tooth are growing beyond belief, and it's time for them to go. Some folks want to stay a little longer, and that's great. But when it comes down to it, service managers, DSABs, everyone, we have to prepare for the exit of some of our leaders that are full of knowledge and experience. So it's important that we start to develop our younger leaders in the sector, and specifically in the areas of human services, which is, in my mind, slightly different than corporate Canada. Some of our requirements are somewhat different, very intricate in regards to how we work together, service system management, and everything that promotes human services integration. I always say human services integration and human services leadership is a lot like sports. I mean, nobody would go and watch a sports team if they were the only sports team. Why would you go? And then no one would go and watch sports if there was only two teams, especially if one team was in a bigger market and the other one was in a smaller one. The bigger market one would win all the time. Those two, what I'm trying to say here is human services leadership is something that continues to evolve over and over and over again, and we have to be at the forefront of quality leadership perspectives, quality leadership methodologies, and quality leadership practices. In regards to sports teams, they need each other, very similar to how human services leadership works. We need each other. It's not like Microsoft, who would like to annihilate Apple. That's how it works, and their leadership style is designed to annihilate the other, or the competition. In human services, we're not designed to annihilate our competition. It's designed for us to work in partnership with some of our agencies and other community and local organizations. So it's very different, and we have to work together as human services leaders. The Human Services Leadership Program, also known as the HSLP, is designed around service system management. It's designed around integration. It's designed around building community capacity, and it's designed around collective impact. Why? Because it's the right thing to do. If you're not doing that, what else are you doing? So I have this clicker that I should be actually clicking. So again, with human services at its core, competency-based program, we feel that this program is well-rounded, filled with vigor, and will be able to address some of the needs that you have in your communities, in your service system areas in regards to development of leadership. So why is it important to our members? Well, we asked you several years ago, what are some of the things that you're looking for that OMSSA can help you with in regards to leadership development? And these are some of the things that we heard. Folks had concerns about succession planning, and not everyone had the resources to do that. We know that senior staff are retiring, and as a result, their knowledge and education is going to go. Many of the leaders who are here working with us today are more than happy, delighted to share that knowledge. But you can only share so much of it because new leaders can only retain so much of it. And you don't want them to know everything that you've done because you want them to be innovative and creative and do different things. I always believe that you need, in order to know where you're going, you need to know where you came from. And Mr. Siegel talked about that, and I think Alf talked about that. 80 years, when OMSSA is 80 years old, folks who are going to be around are going to want to know, well, what did they do 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago? Not necessarily to repeat those things, but to have a history so we don't keep reinventing the same wheel over and over and over and over again, because that doesn't promote efficiencies. So the training that we're looking to produce is not off-the-shelf training. It's customized. It's A, what do you need? What do you need it for? Why do you need it? And how's it going to work? What's important about that is we're able to look at the qualities, the competencies, the skill sets of our current leaders and say, okay, we are going to now start to develop you in a way that makes sense. It's going to couple itself with the work that you do. It's going to couple itself with the work and responsibilities of your agencies, your organizations. But at the end of the day, it's going to be for the folks who utilize our services, which are those individuals who are more marginalized. The program involves coaches and mentors, and we find that's very important because, again, we want to take advantage of some of the skill sets of the individuals that are currently in this room and currently still working within the sector. They have good knowledge. They're loaded. We want to pillage them of that information, you know. Why not? I mean, let's be honest. It's such a busy world that reading all the time is not the way to go. You know, watching webinars and different methodologies of learning is not always the quickest and best way to go. Sometimes we just want to talk to somebody. And it's intriguing to understand, or it's very interesting when you sit with someone who's been there, done that. You sit with them and they answer your question in like 2 words, and you're sitting there saying, why didn't I think of that? Because they've already thought about it. They've done it. They've been there. Their hands were dirty. And it's just a matter of just picking their brain. So we're looking at some really quality coaches and mentors to help support this program. So there's 5 key areas to the program that we call management competencies. And the focus of the training will focus on service system management, human services, managing human services during change, which of course, we take the SAMS change, the SAMS implementation as an example. All positive. I mean, if we had the leadership or we had our leaders prepared for not just the successes of SAMS, but the challenges of SAMS, and knowing full well that, hey, we're going to have to take the good with the bad. We're going to have to, coach our staff up, keep them resilient, keep them on top of change. Then the transition is slightly easier. And I'm not thinking about any of the technical issues that we had with the system. It's how, as a leadership team, did we prepare our staff for these types of transitions? And will this be the only transition or the only change that we're going to see that we have to prepare our staff for? There's going to be more, folks. There's a lot that is going to be happening in the next few years. We don't always know what those things are, and sometimes they pop up and we're not ready for them. But we have to be resilient. But we can't say to our staff, please be resilient. And as leaders, we're saying just that. Just please be resilient. We have to model, coach, mentor, train, provide opportunities, and everything so they are ready, able, and ready to hit the ground running in regards to change. We have to continue to talk about managing change at all levels, all levels. Many of us have to educate our counselors on change, our CAOs, our department heads, everyone, because everyone has a sense of responsibility. Everyone wants to do a good job, but we really have to prepare people. And I say that with passion because if we don't, we're going to start losing people, and they're going to start falling off, and they're going to be off sick. And it's important that we are so resilient and so ready, so able, and continue to talk about change, especially around leadership. So we want to lead through integration, of course. And of course, when it comes to leadership, managing the work is only one aspect. Managing the people is something very different. And quite often, depending on how we administer our hiring practices, we tend to promote from within. And when we promote from within, we tend to promote the best caseworker to the supervisor best supervisor to the manager, the best manager, and up and up and up and up. It's not always the best way to do things. But what other ways are available? And through this leadership training program, we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about pros and cons of effectively succession planning and moving people through the hierarchy of responsibility. It's important that we do that. And through this program, you're going to learn to do that a little bit more. So capacity building, we're being asked to do more with less. We're being asked to partner. Any grant that's out there right now, those who are responsible for it want to see how you're actually engaging the community and how you're partnering and what you're doing and outcomes and evidence-based and everything like that. This program will talk about that. It'll teach your new learners, your new budding superstars, how to do that and why to do it and when to do it, so on and so forth. So there's 3 main levels to the program: the associate, intermediate, and advanced, because we're all at different levels. You're going to have new budding employees that you bring into human services, and you're going to want to teach them how to do things. And let's be honest, some come in with a wealth of knowledge because they're savvy on the computer and they've literally investigated and researched and looked at everything, and they found it on the web, and they come in with a vast amount of information. Well, some of those associate level folks, they know what they want, and they want it. They really do want it, especially the new generation coming in right now. They want it fast. They want to come in, and they don't want to toe the line for 15 years. They want to move through the ranks very, very quickly. And sometimes we have to say, oh, slow your roll, relax a little bit, chill. But they don't want to chill. They don't know chill. Things are so quick for them. They send a text message. They want a response back in 2 seconds. And if you don't respond in 6 seconds, they're pissed off at you. And that's the way it works. You're going to get these new folks come into your workplace, and they want to move, and they want to move through. And I always say it's like going to the doctor's office, right? You're sitting in this big waiting room with 16 people. They move you to another room. You feel good about that, right? And they move you to another room. You're like, yes, this is good. And another room, you're like, what? I'm almost there. And little do you know, you just waited an hour and a half, right? But it felt seamless. And when we look at developing our leaders, it's the same type of thing. Keep moving them through the learning opportunities. It will feel seamless. It'll definitely look like we're participating and investing in them, because HMSA believes in that. Investing in people makes sense. You have to find innovative ways of doing that. And this course will teach folks on how we keep people moving forward. I always say it's kind of ethical manipulation to breed positive results when we're developing people. But that's what you got to do. You got to keep providing the opportunities for folks to learn, because lifelong learning and knowledge transfer is something that we have to start paying a whole lot of attention to, or we're going to lose some of our very, very talented people. The intermediate level, of course, you have those folks who want to move on. They want to do different things. Their pace is slightly different. They've experienced certain things. They just haven't had the opportunity to experience other things, perhaps by virtue of the way your organization's set up. Well, again, this course will give those opportunities to those individuals, throw them into the wrath of the program and bureaucracy and everything else, and teach them how to be nimble, teach them how to navigate the processes that they need to know in order to be successful. And of course, you have your senior folks, advanced folks, not the folks who are exiting in the next couple of years, but those who are going to fall right into place behind those folks who are exiting. And maybe they just need to be kind of sanded off in some rough areas. And this program is going to look at that. It's going to provide some information to those individuals, working with the councils, working with mayors, working with politicians, of course, and working with other executive directors and folks who are in senior positions in other areas. They need to know how to communicate. They need to know how to effectively garner support. They need to know how to build capacity and, of course, focus on social marketing of different programs that they want to do. So we want to be able to give folks who are at advanced level more opportunities to do that. And we think through this training, through our coaching, modeling, mentoring, and everything else that's involved in this will help to do that. This slide is purposely crazy. And we did it on purpose simply because these are some of the topics that the learners are going to engage in. This is probably just one of 5 slides I could have put up that are going to cover off all the things. Now, where did all this stuff come from? Well, we asked you. Right? We researched different programs that are happening across the province, across the country, and we looked at some of the things that they do and some of the topics that folks are very interested in. And this is but a handful. These are the things your folks are going to walk out knowing after taking this program. If I was interviewing somebody and I saw all these skill sets and I was able to ascertain if they were true, and I was able to ascertain if there was application that took place, this person is hired. What's so funny? Now, this person's hired. But I will say this, some of these folks already exist in your workplace. Some of the folks in your workplace already have these skill sets, but they have never had the opportunity to demonstrate them. Right? We are going to give them the opportunities to demonstrate them. We're going to give them the opportunities to say, okay, put your money where your mouth is and show me the money. So again, there's so many other topics that we can talk about, but a well-rounded leader needs to know all of these things. Do they have to master these things? No. Like Einstein said, I don't have to remember everything to be smart because I know where I saved it all, and it can just pull it. And that's what we're looking for. So again, I don't know what I don't know. Of course you don't know. Folks coming into the leadership program are going to be assessed of their knowledge. We're going to try to find out, A, what levels of information do you have? What have you experienced? What have you done? And we're going to build a learning plan from there that is customized and focused on that individual learner. There's 2 core courses in each level, of course, and it's important that folks take that. I think it's going to be somewhere around 28 hours, depending on where you enter the program. But those 2 core courses are focused on service system management, managing change and transformation. OMSSA did a fair amount of work in service system management because that's what we are. So it's important that we understand exactly what that definition is and how it's going to help us. Of course, when we look at the different methodologies of learning, again, state-of-the-art information, state-of-the-art knowledge transfer processes, we can't just sit folks down in a meeting room and say, okay, we're going to workshop you to death. It's going to be death by slides. We're going to just annihilate you with information. Nobody likes that type of stuff. I remember when PowerPoint came up, everybody was doing it. Now nobody wants to do it, except me. I'm doing it again. But it's important that we use different methodologies because people learn differently. You know, there's different ways of transferring information. And Benjamin Franklin said it best: tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I learn. And those are some of the methodologies that we're going to apply in this program. So of course, it's flexible learning formulas. The majority of the work will come from you. Assignments, proving to us that you know exactly what it is you're doing. Demonstrate that through application. There is a coaching role, and the way the coaching role is designed is your coach will come from your home municipality, and your mentor will come from a different one, so you're getting a larger perspective on how things are going to work. The completion of assignments is going to be geared around what it is you need to demonstrate to us. There's a plethora of topics that you can pull from, again, to satisfy the different responsibilities, the different competencies inside of the program. That is not... So there's a coach and there's a mentor. The coach, again, is going to work with OMSSA and work with the individual and drive the learning. That person is going to be in a position where they're going to say, you know, how is it going? What are you doing? Did you get that done? Is there any questions you have for me? So on and so forth. Where the mentor is going to say things like, how would that work in another municipality? If you're in a position or you're being seconded to the ministry to design or to assist in analysis of a new program, how would that work across the province? So we're looking at bringing on mentors that have vast experience in human services and have been a part of different initiatives, responsibilities, boards, so on and so forth. So there's going to be a nice little mix between the coach getting stuff done locally and the mentor just making that more general and making it big picture thinking. And that's a very important part of the program too, is developing learners that are very big picture thinking. So there is a certification component. OMSSA certificate will be awarded to the successful graduates, of course, with a recognition program. We anticipate that the recognition of the program will take place at maybe an OMSSA forum such as this, where we'll take time out and recognize all the graduates. We do have a pilot program in place right now, and I do believe by next year this time we'll be getting that full first cohort through, and I'm actually looking forward to being able to present those folks with their certificate of completion for this program. Accreditation program we're currently working on. We're going to formalize this as much as we possibly can. We're going to be working with a few stakeholders to see if we can get some accreditation awarded to this program and take it to another level. So in case you're interested, as I said before, this document is floating around. There is a booth. It's going to be manned for the remainder of, or women, for the remainder of the conference. Of course, the cohorts will all start off at a leadership symposium where you're going to get the nuts and bolts of the program, meet the group that you're going to be working with or going through the program with, and then everything else that happens with that. So we think it's going to be wonderful. We did incorporate a review panel that will look at the information or look at the knowledge and skill sets of the folks that are involved, and of course move that to another level as well in regards to their graduation. So I don't have a whole lot more to say. I can talk about leadership all day in this particular program. I'm a firm believer that it's something that we need to do. We need to develop folks, especially around the areas of human services. It's a very special sector, and we have very special people in it. And very special people need very special training, knowledge, experience, exposure, lifelong learning, and everything else that comes with that. So don't have a whole lot more to say, but if you have any questions, the booth is open. There's lots of material. Grab it, take it back home, review it, and see if it's something for you or members of your organization. Thank you.